have big decisions to make in life, it's very easy to ask other people for their opinion, their advice, and to forget that actually we all have an internal, what I like to call a GPS system, our intuition, that small voice within that lets us know if we're about to make a good decision, which is in line with our values and our highest good, or if we're going down the wrong road because of our ego. I really wanted to try to help you understand that you already have all of the answers within you, and I wanted to teach you today how to use your intuition to tap in to that divine wisdom so that it helps you to make really good decisions. So intuition is something that I try to tap into every single day, and you don't have to have a crystal ball or, you know, sit in a meditation for 5 hours in order to listen to your intuition. It's something that can be quite subtle, but every single person on the planet has access to the same amount of wisdom, internal wisdom. So this is great because it allows us to kind of understand, are we on the right path? Is this decision that I'm about to make a good decision, or is it based in fear? So the first thing that I wanted to help you with is understanding what happens in the body when your intuition is saying yes versus no. So my belief is that every single human being is here to have an experience on the physical plane. I truly believe that we are all souls having a human experience. We're here to learn lessons, to have relationships, difficult relationships. Our souls grow and then we go back to source. You don't have to resonate with that. You can still listen to your intuition, but I think it's important to understand where our wisdom comes from. Now, my belief is that our intuition is our souls remembering our plan. So before we're born, I believe that we sit down with our spirit guides and we say, okay, these are the lessons that I'm going to need in order for my soul to grow. And then when we come to the physical plane and we have this human experience, when we're about to make a decision that is in line with what we've pre-agreed, then it will feel right. It will feel like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. If we don't, and if we start going off track, then we will feel completely different. One thing to bear in mind is sometimes you won't get the answer straight away. So if I'm wanting to make a decision and I'm sat at my desk and my ego and my voice, my inner voice is chit-chattering away, being negative and trying to sabotage what I'm trying to create, my intuition won't come through in that moment because I'm in fear mode. It may come through when I go to a spin class, or it may come through when I'm doing the washing up. It'll come through when we're able to quieten down our minds a little bit. That's the first thing to bear in mind. So how does it feel in the body when your intuition is saying yes, yes, go ahead, start sign, go ahead, versus no, this may look good on paper, your logical mind may think this is the right decision, but actually this is not for your highest good. How do we start to differentiate the two? How it feels in the body is completely different. So I'm going to tell you what I feel when I know a decision is right and how I know when a decision is wrong, and maybe just experiment with it yourselves over the next few days, over the next few weeks. The other thing to bear in mind is when you get a yes from your intuition, sometimes it makes no sense on a logical level. No sense whatsoever. And the difficulty, I think, for most, and one thing that I struggled with for many years, is trusting my intuition, because there was no physical evidence in that moment that actually that was going to be for my highest good. So I just had to trust it. And making the decision to go into medicine was a decision that I made solely from my intuition. There was no logic behind it, no logic whatsoever. And it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my entire life to date. So what I'd like for you to do is have a think. First of all, get your question in your mind. about what you're not sure about. So it could be, for example, for you, should I become a doctor? Should I go to medical school? Should I move to the UK? Should I be with this person? Whatever it is, get that question in your mind. So I'll give you 20-30 seconds to do that whilst I have a sip of tea. So now that you've got the question, I'd like for you to close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And I'd like for you to ask yourself that question. Imagine that you've already arrived at that destination. So imagine that your goal is to go to medical school and your question is, should I go to medical school? I'd like for you to imagine that you are at medical school right now. How does that feel? So for me, when it's a yes, it's a feeling of expansion, of happiness. My facial expressions will change. I feel light, I feel excited, I feel ready to go. I just feel like, yes, it's a yes. This inner knowing in my stomach, but it just takes over my entire body. Now I'd like for you to ask a question, knowing that the answer is going to be a no. I could ask myself the question, should I quit medical school? Immediately, can you see my body position? I feel like everything just contracts. I feel heavy. Immediately, it feels like I have something in the pit of my stomach that is heavy and uneasy and uncomfortable. But it's a nanosecond. It doesn't happen when we, reflect on it. It's just, you ask the question and bam, either it's an expansion or it's a feeling of heaviness, letting you know that no, this is not the right decision. So practice with that over the next few days and few weeks, see how it feels. And when you get a yes, try to trust it without looking for external confirmation that that is the right path for you. And that's tricky. That's really tricky, because we want then somebody to come in on a physical level to say, that intuitive feeling that you got about following this path, yes, it's actually right. We're not going to get that. But trust that the universe or God or our spirit guides or our angels, whatever you want to believe in, have our back, and they want us to be as fulfilled and as happy and feel as loved as possible whilst having this human experience. And sometimes, yes, we have to go through some painful experiences with other people and just generally in life, but remember, it's always in order for our souls to grow, even if it doesn't make sense on a logical level. So I hope that this video is going to be helpful. If you have any questions about intuition or spirituality, please contact me, because this is where I feel I come alive, and it really brings out, I think, the most authentic version of myself. And I would like to share more about, spirit guides and spirit in general, and how being spiritual, we're all spiritual, aren't we? But how tapping into my spirituality has changed my life. And I hope that many other people out there will get that calling to explore their spiritual side, because that feeling of peace and love that you experience when you tap into that energy is like nothing that you can experience, in my opinion, on the physical plane, only when you tap into spirit. In my next video, I will be talking more about the difference between intuition and fear. So when we ask a question, how do we know if it's a no from our intuition, saying that actually it's not the right path, or if it's a yes, or if it's just our logical mind trying to be a pain in the backside to say, no, you can't do it? How do we differentiate that? So I'm going to leave that for another video, just to keep these short and sweet. But I hope you're all doing great, and I'll see you soon.